Hello everyone, welcome to my second game on the channel that is in the interactive fiction category. I mentioned in the last series where I did 3 episodes of The Dreamhold that I wanted to try out the Gostak, but reviews of this game said probably not good as your first interactive fiction game. You need to know more conventions of the genre. And I wasn't sure, if having played, some kind of old school text games was enough to prepare me or not. So some people recommended I try out the Dreamhold as an introduction to the genre. And a lot of what I thought would be relevant was indeed what was relevant, but there were certainly some things that I learned, some quirks of Inform-like games that hopefully will serve me well in the Gostak. So we're not looking at the game yet. This is the review page that when someone mentioned it, I went and Googled it, and this is what I found. We're not going to, the reviews don't have a bunch of big spoilers or anything. This is certainly a game you could easily be spoiled on. But it is a text adventure game. You're exploring some area, I guess. I assume. I haven't moved around yet, but I assume that's a thing you can do, because you usually can in these kinds of games. But kind of the thing that sets it apart from most games like this, again, from what I can tell from the reviews and what people have said, I haven't played the game at all yet, is that a humongous part of the game is that a bunch of the vocabulary is made up words that just you can't possibly know what they mean until you've read them in enough different contexts. And so a big part of the game is deciphering the vocabulary of this strange alternate universe, I guess. And it says here 2 hours and 10 minutes. I bet it's going to be longer, at least for me, because I spent 3 hours on the Dreamhold, and I didn't even finish the final puzzle. I was like, forget it, I'm out of here. So it'll probably be longer, but we'll see. Also, this seems like the kind of game where you really ought to take notes. Maybe you could do without. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like you'd be happy to do without. So I thought of a couple of ways to do that. First, I said, you know what? I'll make a Google Sheet. And, I was like, oh, you can't see at the bottom. I made a couple of different tabs or sheets or whatever. But I was like, I don't actually know what, figuring out how to organize things so that there's enough for, so that I can look up all the things I want to know. Okay, I want to know what's a verb and what's a noun. I want to know, what verbs can have what subjects and what objects. David drives a car, right? David is a subject. Maybe an object. Maybe you can do things to David, but you can't necessarily drive David. But David can drive, and cars can be driven. And in particular, David can drive a car, right? So you need to know about verbs and parts of speech of every word, but also specifically what words apply to what other words in what contexts. And it was I'm going to have to write, if I want to know, what things can drive, I don't know. Anyway, so it seemed to me like there were going to be too many different things I was going to want to put here, and I was going to want to sort in different orders to look up, okay, I'm not interested in finding nouns. I'm interested in finding things that can be driven, sort by this column. But, then there might be other stuff I need to know, and, I'd have redundant copies of the information around the sheet. And I don't know. I ended up deciding, let's not do it this way, although I might change my mind. So what I decided to try first, which I think will probably prove to be a disastrous decision, but seems interesting, is to make a little SQLite database. It's been years since I've used SQL at all seriously, and I was, never great at it. I could get by, but I was not the guy you would call if you were having a complicated SQL problem. I could do, bread and butter, really simple things. But the good news is, all I want to do today is bread and butter simple things, I think. And I think this is going to be interesting. This seems like it could be appropriate in some ways to creating a dictionary on the fly. Because, you can create a table of subject, verb, object. This is the one table I've created for sure right now without even looking at the game screen. I know I'm going to want this. And, you know, maybe there'll be some verb usages that don't have an object. You know, like David swims, right? And so we can just put null in there. But often we'll have, and so this will let us look up how you can verb things. I can imagine I'll want other things like adjectives, but maybe I want to think of those more as like properties. Do I need to record places to help me remember where everything is, or is navigating the world gonna be easy enough? I don't know. What about my goals? There's gonna be some kind of like things you want to do, which you can even see, you know, around here somewhere. You know, the Gostak distems the dashes. So that's got to be one thing I want to do. I believe I'm the Gostak. So, you know we need to distem the dashes. And so, like, not only is this a subject-verb-object thing, but it's sort of a sentiment thing, right? Dashes should be distemmed. I don't know exactly how to store that, but could be fun to try, right? So I'll try building my own little database as I go. I think if you were playing this by yourself off camera, you could probably just get by with a piece of paper, and it would be way simpler and better, probably. But for something that's going to be on the screen, I needed some sort of text interface, and I don't know. It might get too large to comfortably fit in this tiny little preview window. Surely it will. If I just used a single table or sheet in Google Sheets. So I thought, let's try making a database. Why not? And maybe I'll be able to run the kinds of queries I want to run. Maybe I will find I want to look up all kinds of things I don't know how to encode, but it should be interesting anyway. And if all goes to hell, I can just open up a text file or something. But so that's my plan. This is what we're going to try to do. So let's get to the game. This is on some website, you know, iPlayIF.com. I just Googled. Actually, it was linked from the page I just showed you, which was just the result of me Googling the Gostak. So, as I understand from playing the Dreamhold, this top area is like a status indicator of some kind. This is probably our location. We are at Delcott. And this is probably our score? That's where the score was for the other game. But maybe the concept isn't score. Maybe, you know, it's something else. But we know there are glods and camlings. And the numbers of them are not zero. So maybe it's not a thing that I need to collect, but a thing I need to destroy. There are 5 out there. Who knows? Maybe it means I have $5 and only 1 bus pass. I don't know. Maybe it's probably not my inventory, but anyway, so let's read the text. Finally, here you are, at the Delcott of Tandem, where dashes div. But the dashery lut is krend with glods. Okay, so dashes and div. But then a dashery, that must be a place related to processing dashes in some way. You know, maybe they're little fish and they're swimming around. Their divin is swimming, but the dashery lut is krend with glods. Already, I'm like, how am I going to put this in a SQLite database? What is wrong with me? There's so much. Okay, maybe for now, I'll just let it wash over me until I have some idea of the kinds of things that I need to store. And then I'll contemplate going back to my database. So we know we're at the Delcott, specifically the Delcott of Tandem. So maybe Tandem is a place, like a specific city or something? Or Dash is div. The dashery lut, however, is krend with glods, so that's a problem. There are too many glods. We have negative feelings about glods. Glods. How warm it would be to pell back to the buell and distunk them. Distunk the whole Delcott. Let the drokes diskrend them. Okay, so It's cred with glods. Oh, wouldn't it? So Rorm must be kind of like nice, right? How easy or how desirable. This is a positive word. So already we're getting more information than I thought we might about sentiment, right? Not only do I know I need to distim the dashes because I'm the Gostak, but I know it would be Rorm. Like, that's good. I hate glods. I would Rorm to Pel them. So Pel is like go, or to travel in some way, I think. And I don't know what the Buell is. It's where I was before, probably. And distunk, I don't think we see anything about, like, maybe distunk is the opposite of stunk, but maybe it's just a word. Distunk the whole Delcot. Let the drokes discrend them. So they're crend. So we'd love to discrend them via drokes. Okay. But you are the Gostak. The Gostak distims the dashes, who are currently deeving. And no glod will vorl them from you. So, like, already vorl is like to prevent, right? Like, maybe I could just start writing down actual definitions of some words. So let's create table definition. Gostak text, English text. Insert into definition. Can you not? You really can't tab complete? Hello? Okay. Values. So we know that, like, Rorm. I get to write. Rorm. You know, lovely. Obviously, there's some room for interpretation there, but we can say something like that. Well, it might be easy, but I can update this if it turns out to be wrong. And vorl is protect, kind of. Save. What do you mean? I thought you could insert values multiple times, no? If you have multiple rows you want to insert. If you're adding values for every column, you don't have to specify what columns you're inserting with. Huh. Maybe if you want to do it with multiple rows, you do have to specify. Okay, so oh no, it's Gostak, isn't it? Not Gostak. I've already gotten the name wrong. Okay, what am I exactly? I am the Gostak. I got it wrong. Okay. What do you mean, error? SQLite insert values. Insert into adds rows. Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm missing something. Insert into table values. Yeah, I'm reading example usages of this in SQLite, and this seems to be what you're supposed to do. Do I have... Are you not allowed to use double quotes? Do you have to use single quotes? I don't think that's true. No. Okay, can I do this? Yeah. Really? Fine. Now let me rename the table columns. You can use alter table, I assume. Yeah, alter table, okay. Alter table definition, rename column, Gostak to Gostak. It doesn't support alter, oh my god. What version of SQLite do I have? Oh my god, this is... What a bare bones library. This page was written in 2002, but that doesn't tell me what version... Like, maybe the help file hasn't been updated in a long time. Kind of appropriate, because I think this game is from, like, 2001. So, I'm using the tools of the time. Alright, whatever. So we can say, here are some words. I've defined a couple of words. All right. Now okay. We'll read this. The Gostak, an Interofgan Halpak. Okay, so even the kind of metatextual stuff is in fake words. Copyright 2001 by Karl Muckenhaupt. For a Jalon, Luke Jalon. So that's a tutorial, maybe? And Luke is type. Okay, and then down here... Oh. This isn't all... I thought this would be like the main description of the Delcot of Tandem, but no, there's more. This is the Delcot of Tandem, where Gitches Frike and Duskats Glake. Across from a Toft Kerpel, a Gamwe Deeves to Kilof and Kerf, Gombing a Samelen to its Hoff. Krend in the Lof Lut are 5 glods. Yeah, I see that. So that's interesting. Already, isn't the word deeve? Deeve has been used twice. With different... Oh, you guys can't see the word deeve up here. It's covered by the... Or not. Yeah, you can see this. You can't see what's just to the right of it, but that's okay. I read it to you before, but the Dashri Lud is crowned with clouds. So... So we know Dash is Deeve, and we're supposed to distim the Dashes. But also Agamwe Deeves. So, like, Deeve might be something like turning or move to continue, like, right? Like, the dashes are moving around, but also there's, like, a hallway or something. Deeves to kill off and kerf. And probably Those are like directions, maybe? All right, let's see what's up with the Jalan here. Okay, good. Jalan for the Gostak. Pete, Blazifesh, return, Thunkfesh. Yeah, sure. I can do this. O is Ostafesh. So P is like up. O doesn't seem to do anything. And Q, I assume, is like return? Yeah. Okay. Return is like select, I assume. Yeah. Oh my god. We can look at... Okay, so there's actually a built-in database of something here, although not translations. Information about the world in... Oh, so pelling. This is tell me how to move. Yeah, to pel from deeve to deeve. So a deeve is a place, isn't it? Just Luke with that fesh. Type that direction. To move from place to place, just type that direction. You must also Luke the lut to pel at. Yeah, so pel is go. Pel is definitely go. Let's put that in. And I mean, I guess we might as well say that Luke is type, although I don't think I'll have trouble remembering that. We know a deeve is a place or possibly a room. Just look with that fesh. I still don't understand fesh. Because that was in the, like, dictionary, not the dictionary, the kind of menu. We were selecting entries or something in the menu. And we had next and previous and select. Pel could be move, not go, you know, whatever. You must also Luke the lut. So, is a lut well, I don't think it's a place, right? Because deeve seems to be place. I guess deeve could be like side to side. It doesn't seem right. So like pel at lof, I think lof must be like it's a direction. It's east or south or something. And I don't really understand what function lut has in this utterance. So maybe I guess it doesn't really matter what I call this. Lof. So that we know is a direction. And I don't think we're really going to get much more than that. I mean, it's probably a cardinal direction. Ah, and indeed, if we look here, we can see that half is a direction, And G is probably one as well, right? If you like, this is north maybe, and Hof is east, something like that. So G Hof is northeast, I guess. All right, so let's insert a couple more of those. Hof and G. Maybe G is shortened in this context, and there's a longer word for G. Don't know. Okay. You can also palette Deves. Okay. I love this so far. I'm having a good time. If you rebbed a Mostag, you could fell at the Mostag or gome the Mostag. Of course, you can't pellet all LUTs from all Ds, and even if you could, there are Glauds. Please Luke space. Yeah. So, what does this mean? What does this tell me? Also, I would bet you a large amount of money that K is going to be the abbreviation for the fourth cardinal direction, right? It's not a coincidence that H, J, and L are the 3 direction abbreviations we've found so far. In fact, I'm going to go edit. Actually, you know what? Drop table direction. I have a new idea. Stop. I no longer wish to do this search. Okay. Drop table. I already did that. Create table direction. And yeah, actually, Gostak and English make sense for this. I guess I could put these in the definition table, but I want a separate direction table just to list all 4 of them. Insert into direction values. Oh, no, I want... Okay. Drop. Yeah, try that again. Because I want to say they should both be, like, unique. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm only going to put 4 of them in. How do you do that, though? SQLite unique key. So I guess I want... Like, the keys don't matter when we only have 4 things in the table, but I want to make sure I don't accidentally make multiples or something. This just seems like the appropriate way to do it. So now we have a table that has 4, well, each English text can only appear once for each at all in the whole table, and likewise each Gostak text can only appear once. So let's go back to insert into direction values, but now I want to say that G is south. I'll never be able to disprove this, right? And it just makes the most sense because J is down in the kind of VI movement scheme that, you know, text navigation derives from. And we think then that Hof should be west. And was it Lof or Lut? Lof should be east. And so I wouldn't be at all surprised, in fact, to find that Key is south, Ki. But I don't know that yet, so I'm going to leave it alone. Great. So we have all that. But I kind of think, like, Deves must be like staircases or something, right? Like, or doors? But we've seen divs before. Well, but no, aren't divs places? Of course. Right, we knew that. In fact, that should be in the dictionary, right? No, but definition is the one that I have defined wrong. Yeah, it's Gostak. It should be Gostak. And I have some old version of SQLite that doesn't support renaming columns, I guess. Maybe actually .help will tell me. Okay, this is, you can't really read it because I'm using a very small window, so I don't cover too much of the game text. Yeah, so I think I must not be able to rename it, but that's fine. Sort of. Because I just wanted to say, like, select star from definition where, and I'll just have to spell it wrong, Gostak is div. Like, I wrote down what I think this means, right? Yeah, I think it means place. I wish I could rename, like, how many definitions do I have? 5? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just can't edit. I don't really... Well... Yeah, I want to add some more definitions here, so I think I will just go ahead and drop this table and recreate it with a better name. Drop table definition. So I'm the Gostak, not the Gostak. Well, I might not want this to be a primary key, because I might want to say have multiple translations for one word. So I'm going to leave this, actually, and it's not going to affect our performance because our table is very small. But I wanted to add... Did I want to add anything more while I'm here? I don't think so. Norm is lovely. Voral seems to be something like protect. Pel is go. A div is a place. Or it could be direction. Do we have any evidence that that could be true? I think a fetch is a direction, actually. Sure. Well, no, because LUT seems to be a direction, right? Palette the, go to the west direction. Or maybe a LUT is a door? Or something? I don't know. Not sure about that yet. And then the last thing we had in our old definition was Luke is type, which, sure. But then I had discovered some new things to add. So I think a Mosteg is like stairs or something. Although... And so Gom could be like climb, maybe. Or maybe Reb and Gom are open and closed and Mosteg is door? So we'll just put both of those entries in. I don't really know what it means yet. And I think this is actually something... You know, pellet thieves. Yeah, you can also go to places. Just Luke with that fesh, baby. Okay. I insert into SVO, because here's something I don't understand at all. Reb. The Gostak can reb a Mosteg. I don't know what it means yet, but it's something I can do to Mostegs. I also know that the Gostak can Pell a Mosteg and can Gom a Mosteg. Don't know. Those are things I can do to a Mosteg. Probably other people can too, but specifically I can. Of course, you can't pellet all Luts from all Deves. Yeah, you can't. So Lut has to be a direction. And even if you could, there are glods. So I think glods are... They're obstructions of some kind. Or dangers? We don't like glods. That's pretty clear. You know, I think actually pelling might be more like move than go. Oh, actually I can edit. How do you update definition where English is go? I forget how you do an update. SQLite update. What is the syntax for that? Do you set? Yes, you do set. Oh, and you do it in the other order, huh? Update definition, set English equal move where it's go. Where Gostak is Pell. Pell is move. Okay. So we've understood most of one page of the manual. I don't know what a fesh is. It's somehow related to moving, but it's also related to navigating menus. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to Luke space. I picked pelling because I had seen the word pell elsewhere. So if I go back here, Asta Jalon. Asta is like interesting. So Q is regomb Hauptcock. And goming is actually a... Oh, sorry, you actually can't see this. At the top right, the menu has had over here, you know, more keys, just like it has there. And it's covered up by my dictionary. Sorry. Maybe this area is a bad place for it. I could move it... Oops. Move it down here. Since presumably I'll be typing in this area and I won't type very far. Maybe that's a good idea. And it'll help you read menus. So the Jalon, this is the like help or menu or something like that, right? I think the Jalon is the tutorial? Maybe. Let's put that in, I guess. But when we entered the Dedges submenu, this queue changed. It says Asta Jalan. So Asta is like return or back or something, right? Or it could be up. And like, when I'm here, O is Asta Fesh, but it doesn't do anything. So whatever I'm doing, O is not... Oh, I pressed right. I don't know what that accomplished. Okay, so I don't... And like, return is Tunk Fesh. So return is select. P... I would think O would be the opposite of P in this context, but it doesn't seem to be. N is the opposite, which makes sense. N and P are the kind of Emacs-inspired movement commands, just like HJK and L are for VI. This area isn't scrollable. I can't scroll down to where it says N. No. Okay. So, I mean, Plazzy is like previous, maybe? Let's guess that. Whoops. What have I done? Cancel. Do not do this. Okay, great. And a fesh is like, I don't know. It's a very broad concept, whatever it is. Because you Luke feshes, you Tunk feshes, and and it's related to moving and navigating menus. All right, tell me. And Asta, I think, is like go back. But what if I type O here? O doesn't do anything. Okay, Bewley Dedges. Okay. Sorry, I should read this out loud. It's just so ridiculous that I can't help myself but read ahead. Bewley Dedges. This is a Halpak. As in all Halpaks, you doach at it about what to do in a camling by luking more English Dedges. And the Halpak lukes back. Durly, you could rask a chold if you rebbed one by luking. So I think reb is like find. Because you find... I was able to find a staircase earlier, or whatever the hell it was. Let's look. What did we do with reb before? I rebbed a Mosteg before. Now, you should be able to run joins in here. I wanted to see what else can you... What else can you do with a Mosteg? And so I could run a separate definition here where, like... Object is Mosteg, right? And we'll see, you can also gom a Mosteg, and you can also pel a Mosteg, right? There should be a way you can write a join where you should be able to say what can be done to a reb. No. What else can be done to things that you can reb? Maybe is what I mean. Like, you could look that up somehow. How would you write? I'm not very good at, like I said, SQL. But it's interesting to try. Select star from... SVO T1 join SVO T2. Okay, so I want... This is so stupid. Why am I doing this? Just for practice. So if I just... using, I guess... No, on... What is there? I want to look up what else can be done to things that I reb, I guess is what I wanted. T1.object is T2.object. Yeah. So this is all the ways you could, but I really didn't want all of this. I guess what I just wanted is like select T2 dot T1 dot verb T1 dot object select distinct. Yeah, and so this I guess tells me things that can be rebbed can also be pelled and gommed so far. This is kind of the query I wished I had written earlier, but was not clever enough to write, and our data set is small enough that it's fine. And in fact, this would be a bad query if our data set were too large, because I think you can reb pretty much anything. But, okay. So this is the kind of question I find it exciting to be able to ask my database. Why I chose to use SQLite instead of Google Sheets. I'm sure you can do something like this with Google Sheets, but I don't know how, and I don't know how to do this either, but I'm closer. All right, cool. So you can pell and go, you can gom a mosteg is the word I was looking for earlier. Like if you rebbed a chold, you could rask it. So I think so this is an example of something where I think having played the Dreamhold has helped me. Because rask appears to be take. Like I know when you said like take painting, it just replied with taken. And that's pretty much the only thing that it ever responded that simply with. So I suspect that rask is like pickup. So let's put that in the dictionary. And we know also that the Gostak can also reb a chold, which I don't think means anything, because I think reb is just like find or see. But let's put that in there to have it be clear. You can rask a chold. And furthermore, I can tunk it, which is a word we've seen before. It was in the main, like an upper level of the right. Didn't I tunk the entries in the menu? I think. All right. You can. Oh no. My table needs more. I need direct object and indirect object. Because you can pob cholds specifically at tendos. So, all right, what's this? This first sentence is very rich. Bewley Dedges. Basic somethings, maybe? Basic concepts? But, like, what is a halpak? Is it a game? To doach is to talk. Right? You talk about it, what to do in a camling, a situation. I think I've seen camling somewhere before, but not in a way. Maybe it was in the store, the review page. By looking English dedges. So, okay, here we have Bewley dedges, and here we have English dedges. But I'm not supposed to type English in here, right? I don't luke English dedges, I luke other things. Or, okay, I mean, fair point. I guess the syntax of this entire game is English. There's just a vast vocabulary that I don't know about. The grammar is all English. So I guess I am luking English, aren't I? There's just a lot of words I don't know. And the Halpak lukes back. So, okay, the Halpak has got to be the interpreter, maybe? The game? We'll say the interpreter, or I'll just put both in, why not? We're actually luking English, so could be your? I don't know, but I'm going to say doach is like, tell? You like tell at it what to do, or talk at it about what to do? In a camling, I don't know what a camling is. It could be like a situation. And dedges seem to be commands. Right? These are basic commands, and I'm typing English commands. Or maybe they're sentences, something like that. I think they're more commands than sentences, but just in case I'll put both. Durley kind of looks like an example, doesn't it? Now, Durley is for example, so I kind of want dir to be like I want to be able to look up. All right, I don't have a good way to understand like prefixes and suffixes yet, but we'll say dir is example, and Durley is for example, and there's some duplication there, but that's because I don't have a good grammar system. Okay, we're getting there. You can tunk a chold. So what do I already have stuff about? Yeah, I already entered that we can tunk a chold. But I didn't get that I can pob a chold because you can pob it specifically at attendo. And I don't know. I don't know a way to edit a table definition. What if I create SVOO with indirect in it, and then said insert into SVOO. So how do you do an insert that involves a select? Yeah, okay, I think this is not so bad. Insert into SVOO, subject, verb, direct, indirect, select subject, verb, object, null. I think you can say that, right? Maybe? I don't know. From SVO? Oh, fuck you. What do you want from me? What do you mean syntax error? Like, I never know, is this really allowed in SQLite? It's hard to find good documentation for what you can do in specifically SQLite versus like a proper SQL thing. Okay, inserting new rows with data provided by a select statement. That's what I want to do. Oh, are there not supposed to be parentheses around this? That's probably true, actually. Verve. Okay, the good news is it understood what I was typing this time. All right, great. So that's exactly what I wanted. I now have an SVOO table that has all the entries from my SVO table with no indirect object. So now I can say insert into SVOO values the Gostak can pob a child at a tendo. And now when I select, this is the one thing I know about indirect objects of. Okay. So Hemi is interesting, we can say. Hem could be interest, but this much we know for sure. What else? Dirch. Dirch is a verb of some kind that can be that the Gostak can do to a child. But nothing interesting necessarily happens. So I guess I need some kind of adjective system. Because I know that tendos... I know I can pob cholds at tendos, right? That's handled here. But this sentence implies that tendos can be garmy, right? So maybe it's, you know, you use a key on the red door or something, right? So I think we need something more like create table adjective property. As a noun. Well, we'll just say adjective because I don't really know what else it could mean. So we know that a tendo can be garmy. And we know that a tendo can lail a child, right? So maybe to pob is to give, and lail is to take. Maybe not. That's a plausible guess. You can use multiple objects with some dapes. Dapes! I think a dape is like a verb. It hasn't mentioned dapes before. Wow, I'll accept. What an advanced parser these kinds of games have. So take, yeah, okay. I guess I'll just say that probably a dape is a verb. I think it's probably not, though, because English already has a word for verb. So this, right? Like, I don't know. I guess this isn't necessarily just a universe where everything is totally English, but you don't know any of the words. Maybe some of the words have been changed as well. And we know... There's got to be a way to say, for each item in the list blah, insert into definition the values blah and take. Like, or I guess I would want an SVO. The Gostak can rask all of these items, right? I guess you would select from values. That's it. Let's try that just for fun. Select value. Select Gostak. Nope. Gostak can rask item null from values item gil. Does this make any sense? No. Oh, select? No. Yeah, I don't really understand. There should be some way to like make a table that's transitory, right? Yeah. Okay, so how does SQLite values work? As a SQLite 3.15.0, values clause can be used everywhere a select statement can be used. So, but you have to parenthesize it. It just says you can't do that. So, okay, whatever. It's not important that I do this. So the Gostak can rask specifically a geln. this object. It's true. You're right, I changed it to be direct now. And they can also take a Potchner and a Fac. And also a Drag. You can also Luke multiple dedges. Okay, so dedge has got to be like a command or sentence. You can use dot or then in between them. Rask Geln, then Rask Potchner, Pob Fac. Okay, so Pob, we can do something with... we can Pob Facs as well. So this is interesting because before you could Pob them at Attendo. And we could Pob it at Attendo. But now we can also Pob it without. Right, we can Pob it to Attendo, or we can just Pob it, right? It doesn't. It's both transitive and intransitive. Ooh, okay, this is an exciting sentence. One very heme dape is tunk. So dape we decided is verb, right? Gostak equals tunk. Did I not write that down? I guess I didn't understand. There were multiple contexts it was being used, and I didn't quite get it yet. But this tells me tunk is very heme, very interesting, I think, or important. Maybe it's important. We'll add that to heme, I suppose. And a tunk. Oh, right. Dape is the one that I thought meant verb, right? Yeah, dape is a verb. Okay. A very important command is tunk. I'll be using tunk a lot, so it can just be T. T attendo. Oh, that's probably examine? Yeah, it must be. So we examined attendo. Oh, that's right. And we know engope is lengthen, right? So gope is like long, and to disengope is to shorten. We've seen that occur twice. Up here it shortened things as well. Or in how to move it appeared, and I just didn't remember it. So I think we can just say gope is like long. And specifically, disengope is shorten. Attendo isn't Garmy now that it's Lael to Chold. So I don't know how to store that information. That Tendos are Garmy due to a lack of Chold. The Halpak recognizes many other dupes. Try anything. If Halpak lukes a dape, maybe you can luke it back. Sure. Alright, so I haven't done anything in the game yet. I'm just reading the manual, but I'm having a good time. This is exactly where I want to be in this kind of game. So, yeah, 2 hours of my ass. All right. Yeah, I have no idea how long this game is going to be. I don't at all believe the manual, the review thing saying it was about 2 hours. I'm having a grand old time, though. Hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.